Good evening, and we have made it through another week together. American life transformed. And on this Friday night, we have just heard from President Trump with new guidance on wearing masks outside the home. The president saying, in light of new studies, the CDC is announcing the use of a non-medical cloth face covering as an additional voluntary measure. Voluntary was a word the president repeatedly used with regard to masks. They do not want a run on medical masks in this country. The number of deaths surging in the U.S. In New York State alone, 562 deaths in just the last 24 hours, the majority in New York City. Tonight here, the staggering numbers. In just 2 weeks' time, we've gone from 19,000 cases to tonight, more than 270,000. More than 6,800 are dead. And take a look at this graph tonight showing the number of cases over time and the trajectory. We have talked so much here about trying to flatten the curve. The United States there in red, shooting straight up, well above Italy, China, France, no sign of it leveling off. The peak in New York, the governor saying, could be more than a week off, perhaps several weeks off. Growing pressure tonight on a handful of states that have not issued formal stay-at-home orders for social distancing to try to slow the spread in this country. The difficult images in New York City tonight, the city running out of space in the morgue, now loading bodies into refrigerated trucks. And New York's governor taking executive action tonight, calling on the National Guard to take possession of ventilators from other medical facilities across the state that do not need them, to get them to the hospitals in desperate need right now. We begin tonight with ABC's Whit Johnson, right here in New York.
Tonight, outside one hospital in Brooklyn, a somber walk. A team of doctors moving a COVID victim to a mobile morgue, an increasingly familiar sight in this stricken city.
Morgue space is filling up. This grim picture outside Bellevue Hospital, about a dozen of these refrigerator trucks lined up to hold the dead.
Overnight, the death toll in New York State jumping to nearly 3,000.
Highest single increase in the number of deaths since we started.
Funeral homes overwhelmed.
16% of them in this room are COVID patients.
Pat Marmo delivering tough news to grieving families.
I would love to pick up Grandma now and have her under my roof where I could watch her, but I don't have the accommodation to get her right now.
Tonight, across America, the National Guard building field hospitals in Michigan and Connecticut, disinfecting nursing homes in Georgia. But here in New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo giving the troops different marching orders to seize ventilators from medical facilities with lower needs and redeploy them to hospitals in crisis.
I'm not going to let people die because we didn't redistribute ventilators.
The Trump administration has criticized states begging for supplies, accusing them of exaggerating the need.
The notion of the federal stockpile was it's supposed to be our stockpile. It's not supposed to be state stockpiles that they then use.
But today from the president, a pledge.
We will take every action and we'll spare no resource, financial, medical, scientific. We will not spare anything. We'll get it back into shape, the Empire State.
In New York today, staggering numbers. More than 100,000 people testing positive for coronavirus. Victoria, a school nurse, is one of them.
I am worried about me. I don't want to go out like this. I'm afraid. But I'm afraid that I'm not going to get a chance to see my family again. I'm afraid for what's going to happen to our country.
Tonight, mounting pressure on the governors who have refused to issue stay-at-home orders. 1 week ago, KIV of Alabama was defiant.
We are not Louisiana. We are not New York State. We are not California. And right now is not the time to order people to shelter in place.
Today, there are 1,300 people testing positive for COVID in Alabama. 21 have died. Ivy now announcing a stay-at-home order effective this Saturday. Missouri tonight issuing its own order. In Florida, where a stay-at-home order only took effect today, cases spiked 20% in just 24 hours. Georgia held out until earlier this week, the governor insisting he only now learned that people without symptoms could spread the disease.
This is a game changer for us.
But that information has been widely known for weeks. President Trump has resisted pushing holdout states to act, but Dr. Anthony Fauci has been blunt.
If you look at what's going on in this country, I just don't understand why we're not doing that. We really should be.
Tonight, President Trump with an announcement about masks.
The CDC is advising the use of non-medical cloth face covering as an additional voluntary public health measure. So it's voluntary. You don't have to do it.
And in Michigan, a warning about the need for social distancing. Bus driver Jason Hargrove on Facebook saying one of his passengers couldn't stop coughing.
For you to get on the bus and stand on the bus and cough several times without covering up your mouth, that lets me know that some folks don't care.
4 days after recording that message, Jason developed symptoms himself and died this week.
If we just think about those workers across the country and just try to make sure to cough into our arms or cover our faces to try to protect those around us. And Whit Johnson with us again tonight. He's outside that temporary hospital at the Javits Center here in New York. We know that they will be taking coronavirus patients there after that agreement with the president. And late today, with President Trump, just before we came on, announcing the new CDC recommendations when it comes to masks, the Surgeon General already acknowledging that the federal guidance, in his words, has been confusing to the American people on this.
David, initially the White House was against face coverings for the general public. Now they are recommending non-medical cloth masks. But President Trump emphasized that it is voluntary and that he himself probably won't be wearing one.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.